Why, hello, friends. Been another close shave, and the bleeding has just about stopped. So I feel as if I'm ready to persevere. Friends, I say friends, but here's the thing: how well do we really know one another? Some of us go back many, many years together, but some of you, well, this may be our first meeting. So I'm going to start off this little seance with a piece which it's called A Jingle for the Foreseeable Future is what it's called, and it goes some distance, I think, towards explaining who I am, and later on I'll speak of how I came to be this way. By the way, this has a part for you. There's a little a new little wrinkle here for those of you who have viewed these vignettes previously. There's a choral line for you, and when I go to my chin in this way, and just this way, that's when you'll say, well, here's how the chorus goes. That's the way I am. That's just the way I am. You'll have to get yourselves used to it, that's all. That's the way I am. And as I say, when I go to my chin this way, you will mutter these words, that's the way he is. But when you say that, that's the way he is, try to say it in such a manner as if you didn't want me to hear you. Chances are I won't anyway. But that's how we play this game. So without further preamble, here we go. A jingle for the foreseeable future. That's the way I am. That's just the way I am. You'll have to get yourselves used to it. That's all. That's the way I am. That's the way he is. Very good. Well, now, I'm a trifle old-fangled at last report. Short for a tall man, tall for a short. I've arrived with a bell, a book, and a candle, and truth to tell, I'm not that hard to handle, and, well, that's the way I am. That's just the way I am. You'll have to get yourselves used to it, that's all. That's the way I am. Well, I've been at this romp since I wore knee pants. A little less pomp than circumstance. I stand before you now in trousers with a sack of sock dolagers, cast-offs, keepers, knee slappers, weepers, and rabble-rousers, and that's the way I am. Well, that's just the way I am. You'll have to get yourselves used to it, that's all. That's the way I am. You said it. Any better ideas? Well, I've got none. This is just what I do and the way it gets done. You know, it's all about the poetry, ladies and gents, and letting no offense be taken, because there's none meant, because that's the way I am. Oh, that's just the way I am. You'll have to get yourselves used to it, that's all. That's the way I am. It's like you knew me. That's the way I am. All right. So now we're acquainted. And let me explain to you a little bit of how I came to be this way, the way that I am. I was, when I was growing up, I was what I guess you'd call a grandma's boy. Spent a lot of time with my grandmother, and I listened closely to what she said and the way that she said it. And, well, I couldn't help picking up the odd trait and a fairly good impression of the way she spoke, but we'll conclude with that. Here's a piece. I'd like to take you back in time and space, if you're willing to make a short jaunt, to North 8th Street in Coshocton, Ohio, where I grew up. This is the book in which this piece appears. You can, if you have your own copy, go to page 5. You'll find I've marked mine up considerably, but you needn't concern yourselves with that. This is a little depiction of my grandmother working in her garden, and the way that I, as a young fellow, appreciated the work that she did, and particularly the aromas which emanated from the family plot. This is called I Choose Petunias. Hi-ho for a plot of petunias, like Grandma stoops to grow. She grows such a lot of petunias, and no one else can raise them so. Gram's backyard is a paradise for those who come to sniff. All the world is welcomed back there, and none's noses get short shrift. For the air is full of odor, scented breezes rough the hair. Wafting fragrance of petunias gladdens one that one is where my old Gram plants her petunias. Yearn I do for a reunion with Mom Nature's best petunias. Oh, when next may I commune with those petunias? Hi-ho for a plot of petunias, like Grandma stoops to grow. No one else can raise petunias like Gram's petunias, don't you know? And you know, just between ourselves, this is a verse which Grandma used to intone under her breath, often when she was working in the garden, spading the little clumps of earth and planting the little plants. She could be overheard if you crept up behind her. She didn't like to feel you were eavesdropping, but that's where I first heard her say these lines. While the organ peeled potatoes, lard was rendered by the choir. While the sexton wrung the dish rag, someone set the church on fire. Holy smoke, the parson bellowed, as the flames ate up his hair. Now his head resembles heaven, for there is no parting there. She would conclude. And so shall I. Thanks for tuning in. Peter Paul Van Camp is my name, but us being old friends now, you knew that, didn't you? Let's do this again sometime. Nice spending a few moments with you. Hope you're having a grand day. Peter Paul Van Camp.